My name is Justin Blevins. I drive the number 50 Larry Shaw Open Wheel Modified. First off, I've got to thank my sponsors: Richardson Ambulance Service, Advance Auto Parts of Marion, Blevins Grocery and Deli, Fox Valley Snow Removal, Brown's Appraisal Service, Larry Shaw Race Cars. Got to thank my grandpa, the whole crew, Uncle Larry, Fred, Brittany, sticking with me all year long. We got my start in racing at a young age. My dad, he drove late models and mini stocks for years, and I've been around the track since I was probably 3 years old. I was that kid that did get snuck in underneath the tarp in the back of a van. But I've been running since I was 12 on running stock cars. Before that, I run motocross and a little bit of everything. My goal in racing for the future would be trying to make it to the next level, just like anybody else. I just want to make it to the next level, step up bit by bit. We were fortunate enough, we won in the 2015 track championship with Raceway. We won 10 races this year, which is just incredible. I'd really like to move up to the Southeast Dirt Modified Series, which takes quite a bit of money. So we're looking for sponsors right now, trying to move up into that deal. Started out in the Hornets, which is now the U-Car class. Started out in that at the age of 12. The first year was pretty rough. It was a pretty big learning curve. But second year on, we started winning a couple of races here and there. Actually, the first year that they ever run points, we won the championship that season, and I believe we collected 5 wins that year, which was a pretty big deal for us. We ran 3 years in that division before we moved up into the open wheel, which I was 15 at the time. So that moving up, that was a pretty big learning curve too, an expensive learning curve. But we made the best out of it, and tried and tried and tried. And I got to thank Terry Hayes, Ken McMahon. They got us on the right track and got us where we needed to be, and it's just developed into what it is now, which I can't thank them enough. The first race I ever run in the modified class, it was kind of funny because we went up there to practice on a Wednesday night before the feature, season started on Saturday. First time I ever drove a V8 car. Never had that much power in my life. I was 15 years old, didn't have a learner's permit or anything. And I remember my dad, we went up there and he told me, he said, whatever you do, just be easy with it and get used to it. And me being the hard-headed kid that I was, I couldn't let that happen. So we got out on the track. As soon as they turned us loose with the green flag, I just mad at it going down the back straightaway. And it was just, I was squirrely all over the place, and I've never seen my dad so close to crying in my life with me doing anything in racing, which was pretty wild. The most memorable race that that really sticks out in my mind was probably down at Friendship last year when Kyle Strickler drove some guy's car, and I run side by side for several laps with Kyle Strickler, which Strickler is one of my heroes, in racing. He's just a phenomenal driver, just top notch, super nice guy. Getting to run side by side with him, that sticks out in my mind more than anything, because that was just me just being about as close to being at that level, as I was going to get for that year. So that was really cool. I got to give a shout out to all the drivers that run weekly at With Raceway. I've run with some really good ones over the years. I've been lucky enough to run with Fuzz Taylor, Morgan Widener. Morgan and I, we've run side by side numerous times, never touched. He's great to hang out with and race with. Michael Davis, we've beat and banged and run side by side all night long. You can't ask for any better guys to race with than that on a weekly basis. The first real bad crash that I took in the modified class, I believe it was 2006, and it was the second year in the modified. I got fortunate enough to start on the pole, and I was actually leading the race, and there was two of us. There was me and another guy. We were both rookies at the time, and we drove off into turn one and never lifted, and the next thing you know, I was on the inside wall, head on, pretty well wide open, and we just mangled up a whole bunch of race cars that night. That was one of them nights you walk away with the steering wheel, and that was by far probably the hardest hit I've taken to date. I got the nickname the Redstone Rocket. It was actually handed down to me. The road that I live on is Redstone, that's where the shop's at, and Ed Rouse, who's a guru and legend, used to run it with Raceway for years and years and years. They called him the Redstone Rocket, and once he retired, then it got kind of pushed down onto Mike Johnson, which everybody knows him as Bubba. Bubba was the Redstone Rocket for several years, and I actually got approached by the two of them at a cookout here at the shop, and they bestowed me the nickname the Redstone Rocket, which now they've kind of changed around. They don't really say Redstone, they just call me the Rocket. But either way, it's pretty cool, and I was glad that I was able to get that nickname from the man himself. Ed Rouse, rest in peace. The man was amazing, done a lot for me, helped me out for years. I can't say enough about him. And going around and running different tracks like Rolling Thunder, Princeton, Beckley, Volunteer Speedway down to Bulls Gap. Everything that you think you know about setting up a race car for, say, like With Raceway, where we run weekly, you really have to kind of throw that out the window, and you have to throw some different things at it. And every time we go out, the front end geometry is different. We run different camber and caster for a tighter track versus a longer track. Bar lengths, spring combinations, tire pressures, all that stuff plays a factor. We keep a huge notebook every week, and we're always learning, taking down notes. If we have a good night, we'll note what we did and just keep building off that. It's like I said, it goes back to learning every week. You never stop. I try something different every time we leave a shop. There's something different from one week to the next. We won 10 races, but probably didn't have the same setup on it 2 times the whole time. Always just trying a little bit something different, experiment, trying to find just that little bit more speed. Yeah, you really have to be adaptive, every week, and try that little extra something just because, say like with Raceway, everybody's down within, a tenth or 100th of a second between the top 5 of them. You could throw a blanket over them anytime you wanted to. I mean, it's very rare, especially later on in the season, the track dries out, do you see anybody just kind of step away from the field. It's just so competitive. You've got to be on your game every week and have everything right every night. It's a have to if you're going to try to be competitive. With these guys, you got like Travis Greer come in and run 2 races this year, and they finally got that car dialed in for him. He's going to be a handful. I mean, Travis is an excellent driver. They worked on that car, and he's going to be bad fast. I mean, it's just, you got to keep learning and keep digging every week. Early on in the season, you usually have really heavy, wet, hammer down racetracks, which, you really got to change your driving style, because you got to be up on the wheel, wide open, just driving the wheels off that car to get it around that track, because you've got so much grip in the track, and these cars, I mean, it's hard to get them freed up enough to get them around there with the small engine. You've got to be just hammered down versus, say, like a later in the summer, a black slick racetrack where you've really got to, in your mind, slow it down. You got to be calm, be patient, and you really have to exercise throttle control and being able to use the brakes to help you stabilize the car throughout the corner, because if not, you're just going to end up spinning the tires or spinning out. You lose track position, momentum. I mean, you've really got to be on top of your game. You got to slow down to go fast, which I know that sounds like the craziest thing ever. It took me a long time to learn that. But on a dry slick racetrack toward the end of the summer, you've really got to slow down to go fast. For 2016, I don't really have any definite plans right now. It's like I said earlier, I'd really like to move up and try to experiment, in the Southeast Dirt Modified Series and get into the open engine competition. I mean, there's a little bit more money there, to each night, but it's an added cost. Other than that, we'll probably be right around with Raceway like we've been doing. Hopefully trying some new tracks out, a little different stuff. Just trying to branch out a little more. You never know. We may end up running a full season trying to win a championship again. It's still up in the air right now.